Hi everyone, welcome to Skin School. Can you believe we're doing Skin School since over 1 year? I think it's so crazy. It's 1 year over, and we've been doing Skin School for that long. I don't know how many Skin Schools we have done. Actually, we should look into that. But since we're doing it every week, must be a lot. Thank you for joining in today. I am super excited because I'm here today with Katherine Schwarzenegger, who's an amazing woman with lots of amazing values, but also an author of pretty interesting books, I have to say, and a mother and a superwoman. So welcome, Katherine. I'm so happy that you're joining today. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm here.
We made it.
You made it. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much to give your wisdom to us, because I also like to highlight, these superwomen who really put themselves into, expressing how you feel yourself, how to help others with your experience. And you have done this so impressively with your books, which I'm a big fan of. And yeah, you're also you're a young mother, and you have an interesting life, but to really share your wisdom is something I really admire about you. And maybe you can talk a little bit about your take on everything. And
Yeah, I mean, I thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'm such as you know, a huge fan of yours and all of your amazing products. So I'm very honored to be here, and also very interested in skincare in general. So this is very exciting for me. I have loved being able to write books about topics that I'm really passionate about and interested in. And my first book was about body image, which was really fascinating to me. And I did it when I was in college, and it was just it was, pre-Instagram, and kind of, I think, at the height of when social media really first started. So for me, it was really interesting, and it's been really interesting to see the transformation over the past 10 years of, the different pressures and comparisons that I think young women and women actually of all ages deal with. So that was a really exciting first project for me. And since then, I've written a children's book, and I did a book after I graduated college. And last year came out with a book on forgiveness, which has been really interesting for me. And it just came out in paperback recently. So it's been a really fun time of working on books that I'm really passionate about, and get more passionate about, especially since becoming a mom as well.
yeah, all these books also speak to, the generation you're in at that moment, when you graduate college. So what does it look like? What is your opportunity? And especially now with COVID, I think people struggle, especially the young generation struggle. My stepdaughter is 19. She is freshman in university and has never been at the campus. I mean, it's really depressing to see, the young generation now struggling with, finding their position in life and, their purpose. And there's so much pressure. And yeah, besides, you spend even more time on social media, even more, using all these tools on social media, all these, there's this, I don't know if you've seen it, there's a new advertisement out from Dove where they basically take a young woman, she's totally face tuned and everything. She changed everything in her look. And then they reverse this look back to actually the human being she really is. And I get shit when I talk about it. It's so mind blowing and sad. We really need people like you who can encourage, others, inspire others to really feel safe and strong in their own themselves. And this is how I see my job, in skincare, to help people understand how skin works and what is good for skin, what might be not so good for skin, and how to maintain good, healthy skin, because that's one step to self-love as well. If you're, looking in the mirror in the morning and you don't like what you see, it's hard to really feel happy. And, I get it, I think we all struggle.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely we all do. And I think that, with all of the crazy filters and different apps that you have now to alter the way that you look or make yourself look different. It's definitely, I think, confusing, especially for a young generation to grow up with the ability to do that. And I love the fact that you're such an advocate for natural beauty and for taking care of yourself, and also the importance of focusing on what you put in your body. I remember when you and I talked on the phone right after I had my daughter, and I was talking to you about melasma and just dealing with pigmentation, and and I was like, oh, I can't wait to use this and this after I'm done breastfeeding, and I couldn't use it when I was pregnant because it's not good for you. And you were like, why would you use something on your skin that you can't use when you're pregnant? Because that's not good to be putting on your skin overall. And so it was such a good point for me that I think people need to hear more about, which is, what we do to our skin and what we put in our bodies is so important. And it also has such an impact on, yes, of course, what we look at in the mirror, but also how we feel and how we wake up every single day, and our mentality and our outlook on life, and being able to have that perspective in our minds of, it's so important what we put in our body, and also how we treat our body and how we take care of ourselves, and not looking at skincare as something that is necessarily something that is just a fancy thing to do, but really an act of self-love.
I totally agree. And, when you talk about, trying to get rid of something, you maybe during pregnancy through the hormones, you develop melasma, and you feel like, I think most of the people think there are quick fixes, quick solutions, especially in skincare. So if you have something on your skin you don't like, you think you scrub it off or acid peel it off, or do like all this like crazy stuff to your skin, and you think this quick fix overnight does work. It's just something we need to really step back a moment and say, okay, what is skin? Skin is our largest organ. It has all these amazing functions, and it's an organ like our heart, our kidney, our liver. We need to really see skincare as medicine. We need to start seeing food as medicine. We need to really respect this body of ours as it's our life, it's where we need to nourish and nurture our organs. And when we look at skin is a protection tool, but also has all these functions. And we know very well that, for example, our gut has a microbiome. Yeah. Everybody knows this by now, and we know about probiotics, etc., etc. But on our skin we have a microbiome as well. Bacteria, fungus, parasites, viruses living on our skin. It's just there. And together with our dead skin cells and a hydrolipid film, it creates something called skin barrier. Yeah, and the skin barrier is important. And when we're young, the skin barrier is very strong. Our babies or kids have very closed up skin barriers, beautiful. They never suffer of dehydration because the water can't leave because it's so strong and tight, And when we age, it becomes to get all over the place. We get indentation, aging, wrinkles, dryness because water is leaving the skin. So this skin barrier function needs to be respected. So number one, we want to keep it tight like our children, because that is young looking, good looking skin, so we need to keep it tight. So the idea for aging, actually, for anti-aging, is not to destroy it. So we can destroy this easily by ingredients in skincare. Can you close this door? Retinol, retinic, glycolic, acid peels, like all this crazy stuff, hydroquinone, everything we put on our skin, which is aggressive, even fragrances would destroy our microbiome, even like antibiotics, cortisone. So if we think we have perioral dermatitis, for example, and we put cortisone on, it just masks the problem, but the problem is still there, and you basically destroy your skin after all, even with the medication. And if we have breakout skin and we think, oh, let's dry up all our skin to get rid of the breakouts, that's wrong, because number one, you engage the sebum production for causing breakouts, and number two, dehydrated skin is not healthy skin. So you need to do just the opposite. So you need to heal and repair and keep your skin barrier function intact. So if we are breakouts or melasma or whatever, if we can manage to keep our skin barrier function intact, our microbiome intact, and respect this organ, we will have healthy, glowy, beautiful looking skin. And that's the goal I'm really following, because first of all, to educate about skincare we're using, but also educate about ingredients not to use. And if some product says don't use it when you're pregnant, you should really stay away from it. I mean, it's just logical, right?
Yeah. It was such an interesting point for me that I actually didn't even weirdly think of when I was pregnant. Cause I think when people get pregnant, you change your whole skincare routine to make sure you're, taking care of yourself. It's, going to be okay for your baby. And the idea of maintaining that even when you're not pregnant and when you're breastfeeding and when you're, done with all of that is such an interesting point that I actually didn't even think of. But now that when you had said it to me right after I had my baby, I was like, oh, of course, that makes total sense. And also this idea, I think just what you were saying of aging and it being a beautiful thing and not trying to prevent it, taking care of yourself and making sure that you have hydrated skin and that you take care of your skin, of course, but also, I think we're all bombarded with these lasers and these, treatments and these things that are so intense that make us want to shy away from this idea of aging gracefully and looking natural. And it's such a great thing that I think I was really lucky, as you and I were talking about before, of, to be able to have my mom to look at growing up and to see how natural she was. And she wasn't a big makeup person. She'll, put on makeup for something nice, but she always was makeup free. And I think she's a really great example for me of someone who's aging really gracefully and someone who's, on the natural side of everything, which I think is such a gift to as a young woman and daughters as well.
I totally agree. I think aging grace and the older you get, actually, the cooler you are about this aging thing. But I think we all want to maintain good and young looking skin. So I think, if you think about, what is anti-aging really? Anti-aging would be keeping your skin hydrated, because the reason why we age is dehydration, number one. And with dehydration, the loss of collagen and elastin, and the loss of hyaluronic acid in your skin. The second thing for aging is basically a disrupted skin barrier. If your skin barrier is not strong, it just like gives indentation and sagginess, etc., etc. So I think, then obviously inflammation is something which we get bombarded through, food, pollution, sun, etc., but also through a skincare ingredient. So mostly inflammation is self-inflicted damages, like bathing too long in the sun and you get a sunburn, putting acid peels on your skin and your skin is inflamed and crazy and red and everything. So, you see the inflammation on your skin. So in taking away inflammation is important, and giving your skin ingredient science to maintain, the cell functions, because the life determining how do you say that? Determining factor is literally our number of cell divisions. That's really what makes us age, because turtles have like 110 cell divisions. We only have 40 to 60, and a turtle gets to live over 200 years. It's very interesting, actually.
Wild.
So keeping cells alive and functioning and dividing, it's really the key. And and I have an example, for example, how important is hydration? Because, if your cells are dehydrated, they look like raisins, whereas a hydrated skin cell is like a grape. And these hydrated skin cells, number one, look beautiful in skin, but also can take on active ingredients to make sure we divide into valuable cells. So hydration is really one key, not just for our skin cells, but also for, filling up hyaluronic acid reservoirs, keeping elastin and collagen hydrated, and they don't crumble like old rubber bands, So we need to really make sure the hydration part is perfect. Anti-inflammation, keeping skin barrier function intact, and ingredient science. So all of these things should be in our skincare routine. So doing nothing and aging gracefully is not the idea either. I think it should be something which, supports your skin and cell functions rather than destruct it. We always should look at repair and heal instead of, aggression and repair, because you run out of your repair tools. You should just focus on repair and heal.
Right. I love that. I think it's so great. I think it's also like, I could sit here and listen to all of these facts about skincare for hours, just because I think it's so fascinating and really helpful to be able to just be so aware of, yes, products are so important with what you put on your face, and also, the vitamins that you take and probiotics, and making sure that you drink water and that you stay healthy and hydrated, and also that you, cater to the changes as you get older. And and what you need, and changing that up and being mindful of what you put in your body and your environment. It's all just so important and fascinating to me.
No, it's a 360 lifestyle oriented thinking, and I think our the next generation is see my daughter Charlie is 25. She knows so much about it, and they're living so well. They know about the right food, about you
Right.
know they need to get enough sleep, they need to do meditation or distressing. They're just like very educated on, especially in food, and really pay attention to it. And I think there's another thing, whatever we put in our system, you know, we take what we need for our energy, for everything which really helps our body to survive, comes, from food, from breathing, from, what we drink, whatever. But it's so important that we give our body really the good stuff,
Of course. Yeah.
So, and anti-inflammatory diet is something, we live at our house. We don't eat processed meat. We don't eat dairy. We mostly have a plant-based diet. It's like, it's just really makes a difference. And I've been living like this anti-inflammatory diet since I'm 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and I taught my kids, my kids grew up just drinking water, no sodas, no juices, none of that. Just they drink water, they eat salads, they eat like
Yeah.
really healthy with the family. So it's the way, they're brought up and what you live
Definitely.
together with your children. They adapt to it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's great that they can also educate their friends. I'm sure they all find that very helpful.
That is, that is the dangerous part, because sometimes they're at their friend's house and then someone has a Coke and I'm like, and Pepper comes and asks me, Mommy, can I have like a can? Is it no? And then sometimes you can't get away, and what do you want to do? Just be like the mother who's just like crazy and the kid isn't allowed to do anything. I think you need to really maneuver around and make
Yeah, for
sure,
sure.
as long as it's not in your own house,
Yeah.
but there's definitely, also everything in moderation. We don't have to be extremist about certain things. Of course, they should have candy, otherwise they grow up with the craving everything later in life. That
I
doesn't
know.
make
That's
sense.
true. Yeah, you
Yeah,
do need to have everything in moderation. And then at the end of the day, you send them out into the world and hope that they, know what they learned at your house and at home and practice it.
exactly. So how's your skin now? What are you doing to your skin? Are you done with breastfeeding?
No, I'm still breastfeeding.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, it's been such an interesting experience. And I feel so lucky that I've been able to, my daughter's going to be 9 months soon. So I feel really lucky that I've been able to go this long and be able to do that. My goal was originally 6 months. So I'm still going a little bit farther, but I think it's so interesting to me also just to learn so much about breastfeeding. You always have this understanding that breastfeeding is amazing for your child and to be able to give them antibodies and different nutrients that you as the mom can give your baby. And as I have been on my breastfeeding journey, I've learned so much more about all of the amazing things that are in breast milk and how your breast milk changes as your baby gets older and adapts to what they need. And it's just so fascinating for me. And I actually sent my breast milk out to be tested, and to see all the information that came back was just so interesting to me and made me want to continue to do it for a little bit longer. And so it's been such a great experience for me. And also just the power that's in breast milk is wild. It's also, very big. I think it might be different, pre-COVID. Breastfeeding is a big job in the fact that it, especially if you're pumping and, it takes a lot of thought to be able to do that throughout your day, but it's such an amazing bonding experience to have with your baby, and to be able to do that is such a huge gift. So I've been enjoying it, but it's definitely, it's a great thing to be able to have. And I don't know, like, how am I going to stop doing this? Because it's such a part of our daily routine to be able to do it together, and to have that with my baby. So it's been great, but but my skincare routine, I mean, has ever since I had my conversation with you, which I think was like a couple weeks after I had my daughter, it's been pretty much the same, which has been so helpful for me to be able to see, you know, as we were talking about before, your hormones change so much when you're pregnant. So to see the transformation of, you know, the month before I gave birth to my daughter, which was, you know, in the summer and you're in heat and the sun. And even though I was, you know, layering on SPF, you still, with hormones, you'll get, you know, melasma or hyperpigmentation. And to see the transformation of that since I've been on a very specific routine that you put me on has been so amazing for me, to just be able to, you know, not have to do what everybody would say to me, like, oh, you're going to have to do some peels, or you're going to have to do all these, all these laser treatments to get rid of that or to lift that pigmentation. So to be able to, you know, have this routine and use such amazing products is such a huge gift, and I'm obsessed with it.
Did it help with the melasma? Is your
Yeah,
melasma
for
gone?
sure. I mean, I don't know if you remember when I was like, I think I FaceTimed you right after, and I had it so bad here.
I know.
Yeah. So it's definitely lifted a lot of the color, and it's so great, especially to be able to have, even to just add the SPF sun drops, which is, it's so great because I can put that under also if I have to do something like this and put makeup on or a tinted moisturizer, I can put it on underneath and it doesn't pill at all. So it's great to just have that as a no-brainer to do every morning.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. So you've been really religious with the routine, because that's also, you know, we have this quick fix where people say, oh, you have to do laser, you have to do this, and you have to do acid peels. And you know, when you do all those aggressive treatments, you basically destroy your skin barrier. You take healthy skin cells away. You don't have your protection, so your skin is basically raw. And when then the stressors come in, like sun, etc., it causes even more hyperpigmentation. So when you do laser and acid peels, you get this spotty, waxy skin from it. And so I would never recommend to fix something, you know, overnight with an aggressive treatment. So the way we really address melasma is like a combination of our darker skin tone line and the brightening line, together with the brightening food and our sun drops. And that's such a great combination to loosen really the agglomeration of these yellow and dark spots, but at the same time also even out the skin tone, which doesn't go overnight. It probably takes a couple of weeks, but then it's really effective. It's anti-aging, it's hydrating, it's nutritious, it's healing. So you do all these things at the same time and keep your skin beautiful and healthy, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that is really, you know, the difference to being always kind and nice to your skin, instead of like being mad at your skin and I do laser to you today. Today you get lasers, you stupid skin.
Yeah. I remember I went to a dermatologist a couple years ago, actually, and she said to me, so do you have any skin, you know, I just did an annual kind of checkup for the first time. And she said to me, do you have any concerns about your skin? And I was like, oh, well, I mean, I'm just here to do a checkup and to, you know, make sure that everything looks okay. And she was like, so are you not worried about your melasma on your face? And I was like, I mean, okay, but I mean, yeah, I think. And she's like, so do you plan on having children? And I said, yeah, I would love to have kids. And she said, oh, so don't do anything to your skin until you're done having kids, because kids and your hormones will ruin your skin and you'll have pigmentation everywhere. So just prepare yourself for that. I was like,
oh, that's a great visit at the doctor.
I know. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I left feeling so insecure about my skin, because she was just like, no. I said, oh, I've always had a little bit on my upper lip, which is so common for a lot of women, especially if you go on, you know, birth control when you're in high school. And she said, no, you actually have it all over your face. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Thanks.
Yeah. I was like, thank you. But
if you didn't feel insecure then, you definitely felt insecure right after.
Yeah, right after, I know. And then of course you're just like trying to figure out motherhood and you're not sleeping. And then I'm just like, oh my gosh, but it's been such a great thing to be able to have, you know, this, you know, routine that's so mindful of taking care of your skin, and also just being aware of the fact that, like, you know, what you're putting on your skin is good for you. You can do it while you're breastfeeding, while you're pregnant. I'll know next time around that I can do it while I'm pregnant, and to be able to just have that and not be critical of, okay, here's my face is a disaster because I want to have children. Like, it's just such a different mentality and mindset that I was just like, whoa. So
Can I
crazy.
ask you a super personal question?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're super, super beautiful. Did you go through a period where you had, where you were like maybe insecure, or you were focusing too much on yourself in a way? Did you learn in the process maybe of writing books and wanting to inspire other people to maybe go through a process you went through, where you maybe got away from maybe taking yourself too seriously? In a way, you look at yourself and being like critical about, oh, whatever, my ribs are too far out, or my
Yeah.
butt is like this, or my face or my skin or whatever. So because I think there's so many out there who just struggle with the way they look at themselves. They
Of
might be
course.
super gorgeous, but still feel this is to that, this is to that, and don't feel really happy in themselves. So I sometimes think maybe focusing on other things instead of focusing too much on yourself. So did you go through anything like this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think I remember the first time, and I wrote about this in my first book. The first time that I ever looked in the mirror and I did not like what I saw, or I started comparing myself to other girls in my class, was when I was in fourth grade. And I was like, wait, why is this girl skinnier than me? And why am I, why is my hair this way? Or why do I have freckles and this girl doesn't have freckles? And I started really why are my legs like this? Why do I have bigger thighs than this girl? I started really comparing myself. And I remember having this moment with my mom in her bathroom where I was just like, I don't like the way I look. And my mom was just so upset that I was having this reaction for the very first time. And I remember her talking to me about, saying to me like that she still has times where she'll look in the mirror and not like what she sees, but that she always makes sure to, talk about self-love and the importance of, yes, you can have a day where you wake up in the morning and you have a pimple on your face and you feel insecure, or you might have your melasma might be acting up, or you might not love your thighs one day, or your arms or your tummy or whatever it is, but that tomorrow is a new day, and that you can also make the decision to wake up that morning and change your outlook and say like, yeah, I have these thighs are, they're strong and they might be bigger than another person's, but they are what allows me to walk and ride bikes and ride horses. And I always remembered when I was in high school, I was a competitive horseback rider, and my thighs were always really big and strong. And I always was, insecure about it. And I was like, no, this is actually what allows me to be a great rider, to stay on my horse, to be strong and to be healthy. And also, I think as I've gotten older, being able to focus on health as being such a big part of it. I try to exercise almost every single day. And I grew up around that. My dad and my mom both, I grew up with them waking up at 5 a.m. and working out. My dad still works out twice a day. My mom works out every single morning and being active. I grew up in a very active household. So that was a really helpful part of being able to focus on health as being such a big part of, when I have a moment and I don't love what I see in the mirror, being able to focus on the health part of it and how I feel. And also, focusing on other things. Like I remember when I was in high school, focusing on, I'm creative and I'm smart at this subject. And my mom was always really helpful with me on those different topics. But having those moments, I mean, I definitely, especially in high school and in college, I felt insecure about so many things. About, sometimes I would feel insecure about my skin. I remember I had freckles, and I still have freckles all over my nose. But when I was in high school, I would get them and they would come out a lot in the summer, and I would be insecure about that, or my weight, or as your body changes as a young woman, you have moments of like, what's happening to my body? I used to be one way and now I'm a different way. Is that normal? So I had a lot of those moments growing up, and I still have days where I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, oh, I wish this were different, or but I also try to focus on the fact that my body allowed me to have my daughter and allowed me to continue to breastfeed at almost 9 months. And I'm so grateful for that. And it's something that I always try to keep in mind. And I also try to tell that to my younger girl cousins when they have moments like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. I'm like, you're healthy, which is, we're so grateful, especially in this past year, to be grateful for our health is such a huge gift. And to be able to have that and to be grateful for that, and to focus on things like your friendships and the love and being able to have a partner. Like, I'm so grateful all the time to have my husband just, be so loving and supportive and caring. And that also, I think, is such a huge gift for anybody, to be able to have that and to feel so much more comfortable and confident in their skin. And I always try to tell my younger cousins and all the women in my life, I always try to talk to them about that. And then also to have girlfriends and my sister and my mom, people to talk to when you have days where you don't feel so great or so hot, and to have that open communication and dialogue, but always be able to come back to a place of self-love is so important.
No, that's great. But also probably, having a child now, it's like changes your perspective.
Totally.
You want your
Yeah.
children to be happy. You take yourself a little bit back. But I think also, when you're young, you don't have all the tools and knowledge and experience yet. I have to, and I'm so much older than you, but it's like when you get to my age, I think you just become so much more relaxed about all these things, and I went through most of them as well. But these days it's just so competitive with all this social media, and it's so
Right.
I don't think it's fun for this generation to compare to like whatever they're comparing to, because there's you don't just see one person in your classroom or two, you compare yourself to, you see like thousands and millions on all these social media. You see all these people and oh my God, this person has that and this person said I'm like
Yeah.
this. It's just so overwhelming. Yeah.
It's really overwhelming, and I'm not envious at all that, for the generation that's having to grow up with that. It's
Yeah.
just really, it's so stressful. And I think, when I was in high school, I remember just being overwhelmed. I know you were mentioning Dove, but I was just looking at what was in magazines, what was on TV, what was, being advertised. I remember being overwhelmed by that. And now it's, that times 100, because you have social media, you have all the different forms of social media that, have filters, have adjustments. You see people show their, fanciest parts of their lives and the best pictures of themselves. And it leaves you, I think, a lot of the time, especially as a young woman, when you're changing and you're getting older and your body's changing, to be able to go through all of that and to have to deal with, images of flawless perfection constantly being bombarded at you is
Yeah.
really a lot. And so I think the more that we can have people who are talking about natural beauty and talking about embracing, various things that are looked at as flaws for so many different people, and to be able to embrace the way that you look and love yourself, and also focus on the importance of inner beauty is such an important thing and an important messaging to be able to be talking about with the younger generation.
I totally agree. So perfect. I mean, like your books also reflect your passion about these topics. I
Yeah.
love it. Also, you wrote a book about you're very advocate for animals, which
Yes.
I'm too. I fostered 3 dogs, which I ended up getting during.
That's what happens. That's what happened to me.
They're all living now in Germany with my dad, because I travel with them, and then
course.
you get restricted with traveling back. It's like, so I'm going back to Germany and see them, but it's like, I just love animals so much, and I grew up with lots of animals, and for me it's always mind-blowing how, and especially the beauty industry really doesn't give a shit, sorry to say that, but they just test on animals for no reason,
Right.
just to make some money. And I never really understood that. And I'm outspoken about it, but I should probably be more outspoken about it. But it's just this mentality of not caring, and especially when you're a big company, like giant companies, they're just such institutions, and it's more about their revenues. I get it, but there should be someone really taking charge of that. And I mean, it's torturing animals.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I think you see, I mean, I follow a lot of accounts that expose a lot of the testing that they do on animals, or cruelty to animals. And and watch documentaries on it. And it's terrible. I recently watched a documentary called Seaspiracy, which was insane about, marine life. And so I'm a huge animal lover. I've always been. I've, grown up around animals and love being around animals still. And also as a mom now, to be able to just know the importance of having my daughter grow up around animals and have that love of animals, and to see how excited she gets when she sees dogs. And it's just so sweet. And it's such a gift to be able to give to kids, and also just to people of all ages. So I'm always really mindful of that. And it's such a huge passion of mine, and how I got, my little dog Maverick, and fostering and being able to just be a voice for the voiceless. So it's definitely a topic that I'm very passionate about.
No, it's great. Yeah, you're an amazing woman. I'm so happy we're friends, and that you're with us today. It's really sweet. I was wondering if you should dial some people in, and maybe have a conversation with a few of our audience.
So we should have Vivian on the line. Vivian, do you want to unmute yourself and turn your camera on?
Hi, Vivian.
Hi. Hi, Dr. Durham. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm glad to join you for free, if I can put it
How are
out
you? I know my products are expensive, but everything else at Sturm is free.
Yeah. So my name is Vivian. I've joined you from the United Kingdom.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So that shows how passionate I am about my skin and how I want to get it better. I'm 49, so I believe that some hormonal imbalance is causing a lot of issues with my skin, and I'm very keen to get that resolved. So my question is, I've got blackheads, which I'm struggling to get rid of, and no matter how much I try, I still get it there. It's not going in. I've used quite a lot of skin products for the past 3 months. I'm not sure if I'm able to share with you, but it's not helping at all. So currently I've been using, is it Paula's Choice?
Yeah, it's probably some acid peel, no?
Yeah, it hasn't helped. For the past 3 months, it hasn't helped.
Yeah.
I've used something called Avena Zaracam ED. Not sure if you can see.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I've used retinol for the night.
Okay, so we can stop right here. I will tell you a little bit about it, because it's really important. It's really important question. And when we talk about big pores, blackheads, breakouts, we're talking about our skin being super imbalanced. Yeah. It's nothing to do with one product or with one solution. It has to do with how do we see and treat our skin as a whole thing, and if we look at skin, we need to make sure we cleanse our skin. We twice a week maybe exfoliate dead skin cells, and then we need to make sure our pH is slightly acidic, because our microbiome and our skin barrier needs a slightly acidic pH. And then we need to have a hydration tool and a moisturizer. So hydration is the key. Slight exfoliation is the key in cleansing our skin. So if hydration is gone, that's a problem for our skin, because our sebum production is encouraged to do more. Our pores will clog with the sebum, and then it oxidates and then they become blackhead, and you get big pores and you have all these problems. Well, the market suggests that we use products like retin-A or acid peels, what you have on your table there, which basically scrub off your skin, takes not just away the dead skin cells, but also takes away all the healthy skin layers. So you get totally dehydrated skin, you are totally imbalanced, you don't have your microbiome, you don't have your skin barrier, you basically put your skin at risk. And the outcome is actually sensitivity, blackheads, dryness, and more problems than you probably had before. Yeah. So really what I would like you to do is go back a step and really make sure your skin is hydrated. I actually created a skincare for melanin rich skin, which has a few different needs, but also a higher deception to inflammation. So this line is extra anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and evening out the skin tone. And this would help you help with not just blackheads, but also with the balance of your skin. So you would use the darker skin tone cleanser. Twice a week, you use the darker skin tone enzyme cleanser. And please only start with the enzyme cleanser in 4 weeks. We need to heal your skin first because you over exfoliated / resurfaced. So stay away from harsh exfoliants and resurfacing products, please. Yeah. And then a darker skin tone hyaluronic serum and a darker skin tone face cream. And that is it. You don't use anything else. You will get your skin back into balance. You will get your skin back into, healthy state, and you regrow your skin barrier function and really gain like the healthy physiology of your skin. And then you will find yourself with small pores and no breakouts and no blackheads. Okay.
Thank you very much.
It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's so great.
So, yeah, Catherine, so is it, what do you use on the little one now? Do you have the kids products?
I mean, I lather her in you sent me the nicest gift when I first had her, and it was all of her baby products and the body lotion and the face cream. And now I have created a terrible habit in lathering her. Every single time I change her at the changing table, I'm just like, I put it all over her. So she's getting used to having her mini facial treatments at this age. So of course it's going to be a habit that I'm going to create. But I also was wondering, just because of that question, we always watch these videos. I think anybody who's like really interested in skincare, which I watch skincare videos all the time just because it's so interesting to me. What are your thoughts on like squeezing, like the blackheads, all of it?
That's a good question. During COVID, nobody was able to get a proper facial.
Exactly.
So everybody's like probably trying to work on it themselves, which is not always so good because, you can also disrupt your skin barrier with that because you squeeze. And when you squeeze your pimple, you kind of, even especially with your nails, you cause a micro injury in your skin. Yeah.
Right.
And then when the sun hits, that can leave hyperpigmentation spot even right there. Even you can even cause scar tissue right there. So the best actually is to stay away. Obviously with blackheads, you want to get rid of them. Don't go for those crazy, strips and whatever there is. So stay away from that. You really have to get to a proper facial. Now, things are opening up and also in England, but also here we opened our spa in Los Angeles. Have you been for a facial, by the way?
No, I haven't been for a facial since I don't know if I even had one during my entire pregnancy.
Oh my God. So we need to get you over to the spa. It's gorgeous. You will love it. Everybody's obsessed with the facials. Our estheticians are amazing. So the best thing, obviously, if you get a really good steam and then someone professional to help you. If you feel like you need to pop a pimple, just take 2 Q-tips instead of your fingernails. That often, helps and doesn't leave like those scars. But, with blackheads, the best thing to prevent and, get rid of blackheads is to have like an enzyme cleanser twice a week, our foam cleanser, a hyaluronic serum and a face cream, because it's just like, if your skin is in balance, you won't get blackheads. I tell you, when I was 30, I had super dry skin. I had blackheads. I need to see my facialist like every 3 weeks. It was a nightmare. And I couldn't fix my skin with the products which were on the market. It was unbelievable. I mean, I tried every single product on that market and it didn't help. And so I was so frustrated that I created my own stuff. And ever since then, I never need to go to a facial. I don't have blackheads. I have super hydrated skin.
Yeah.
It's just, it healed my skin really overnight. And that was like mind blowing to me that, I could fix my skin like this. And this is when I got really into it,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so fascinating. I love it.
Yeah. And with our kids, we can make so many mistakes when they're born, overdoing it, using, ingredients which are, especially all this organic stuff. It's causing allergies because there's a lot of essential oils in, and people think that is good for the kids, but it's not. You need to keep the skincare we keep super simple with the best high quality ingredients and the right concentration. So I created this for Pepper, my 6-year-old, because I wouldn't trust any other skincare product on the market. So I created it for her. And every time I need, when her skin is dry, or we are in like, somewhere cold where you need to protect the skin, or, something, it's a little redness, these products really help. They really help with eczema. They help to really strengthen the kids' skin barrier in this young age, And what I did, I don't know how do you do the washing stuff too? Because
the cleansing milk, yes.
Yeah, but you don't do, it sounds really cruel, but don't do bubble bath for kids.
Oh no, I learned that a while ago. I don't even think that I also learned not to do bubble baths for adults as well. But I especially learned that for babies, not to do bubble baths, but I use the cleansing milk. And also the packaging, I have to say, there's so much crazy colored packaging for babies, and
the
packaging of your products is very, oh yeah, you'll have it right there, very aesthetically.
Oh my God, the bum. Do you use the bum cream?
Of course I do.
Oh my God, is this the best thing? It really heals like this, no?
Yeah, it's amazing. All the products are so great. I
love it. And the shampoo, I still have Pepper use this shampoo. She's 6 years old, because it's just the cleanest, maybe it doesn't foam, but it gets the job done. And it's so healthy, I feel like, people think they have to scrub their children, and especially babies, and clean, and they need to have a good skin barrier. It's like, when we wash our face with soap, for example, if we would just use a bar of soap, we would totally mess up our pH of our skin, because our skin's pH is really slightly acidic, and a soap is super alkaline in its pH.
Right.
So there's so much to know, and I think the market has like so many choices for us, where we don't really know what to do unless you get totally into it.
Yeah, no, I think it's overwhelming. I mean, you also see, especially I think with social media, you see all of these videos or quick fix videos of, how to get rid of this on your face, or how to do this, or, these different things that I always watch, and I think it's so fascinating. But then when it actually comes down to doing it, it's so aggressive to your skin, like you were saying.
Absolutely. So that's why we're doing skin school.
Exactly. Educate.
And it's good that you help spreading the word, and with your own experience, we just I just gave you advice, you just follow this, and you have your own experience. It's not like I'm asking you to say these things. It's another thing. I want this to be organically respected and adapted to, and the good thing is that I think the skincare market meanwhile really understands to go away from all this aggression and come to skincare, which is actually like medicine in a way.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Also, if you think about it, it's we take vitamins and we do things to help, whether it's low levels of omega or vitamins, or take probiotics and do all these things. And so it makes sense to be able to do that for our skin and what's on the outside as well. So it's such amazing messaging, and I'm so grateful for it. I think especially in a time where we're bombarded with so many images and filters and adjustments and lasers and different things like that are quick fixes, to be able to look at what you're doing as investments of long-term skincare and health for our skin is such a great gift, and also such amazing messaging to have for women and for men of all ages. So
what is your husband using?
I'll tell you what he's using is the calming serum that you sent him. I was like,
this is such a guy's product.
I know it is such a guy's product. And I think especially I have two brothers, the simpler, the better when it comes to, just saying or explaining what these things are. But I remember when you sent them to me and I put them next to his sink, and I was like, just so you know, this is a very fancy product. So you need to be mindful of how you're going to use it. So I gave a whole spiel and tutorial about it, because it's so great to be able to have that. I think a lot of I know so many women that are in charge of, you know, what the products that are being bought in their households or for their husbands, and making sure things are very simple and straightforward. And so to be able to have the whole family on the whole Sturm routine is
But
amazing.
your brothers, what about your brothers? Are they
My
the Sturm?
brothers, my youngest brother is, I'm slowly getting into more skincare. He's very, you know, I think especially when you're young in your 20s, as a guy, you're just kind of like, you know, whatever about so many things. But whenever I can get my hands on both of my brothers, and my sister, I mean, my sister was way ahead of me with her education on skincare. She was always like, this, Katherine, don't use this, use this, Katherine, don't do this. And she's also very blunt with me about, you know, I don't think that you're doing your eyebrows this right way. I think this other way looks better, you know, that, so the best to be able to have, I mean, I'm super close to my siblings, which is the best gift in the entire
sweet.
world.
Yeah, you guys are so
And
close.
yeah, we are very close. So to be able to have that is so great. And then when we're on family vacations, to be able to snoop through everybody's skincare routine is my favorite activity.
We need to get your brothers to the spa.
My brother, yeah, and my sister. I mean, everybody. My
But you know
mother,
what?
my
And your
I'll send
mom,
my
your
father.
dad. We need to get you all over there. But I think I see so many young guys now totally being into their skins of like these like young rappers, you know, who are like,
Yeah.
you know, they're loving the Sturm. They're doing like
So great.
big videos for GQ talking about their skin and Sturm. It's so funny. And they're walking around with the most amazing skin. I mean, you look through their Instagram, like rappers, like cool boys, you know, but they have like this gorgeous skin and they're young. I mean, they're like 20, you know, it's crazy.
It's
And
amazing.
I love it. So I think there's like such a big move for the next generation, men or women, you know,
Yeah.
all into healthy skin.
Yeah, no, it's super important. And it's such a great messaging, especially for anybody who's, you know, young and learning about skincare and wanting to change their routine. So it's, but also to know that no matter what age you are, be able to make the change at, you know, whatever point you are at in life is impactful.
Totally. I love it. So we need to figure out when I can get you to the spa.
I know.
I want to see the baby. I haven't seen the baby.
I know. I need to bring her in for her first
Yes.
treatment.
So nice to talk to you.
So nice to talk to you too. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. I'm honored to be on here talking to you.
No, you're such an amazing woman. I mean, I really wanted to take every moment to learn about your take on things. It's so amazing that you know, bringing your wisdom to everyone. I can only recommend getting your books. Maybe you want to give us the titles of the books, because, you know, I have 2 of your books, which I love. And, you know, also the way you talk about forgiving, I think is such a big, I think this is when we know how to forgive, we are all set. I think that's the biggest form of self-love, you know,
For sure.
To forgive. And I think we always have to be reminded. And I had a very interesting conversation with my dad this morning. He's in Germany, and, you know, he said, you know, your sister-in-law's birthday is tomorrow. I said, oh, I didn't have such a great conversation with her last time, you know. And he's like, yeah, but you will call her tomorrow, and, you know, you're so you know, forgiving, and, you know, we have to, you know, forgive each other all the time. You know, we were talking about it, and so, you know, it's so great that you have your parents, first of all, to teach you always and remind you and give you all the values at all times. It's just very important to the mankind, no?
Yeah, no, I think forgiveness it's one of those topics that we all have stories about, or we all have something that comes to mind when you mention the word forgiveness, and it's not a topic that we talk that much about. So it's why I wanted to write a book about it, because, you know, we hear, you know, your experiences with forgiveness, my experiences with it, and our struggles with it, and it can help us in our own journey. And to be able to be more open and talking about that, I think is so important, because when you're able to forgive, like you were saying, it's such an act of self-love, and it's such a gift that we give ourselves. So it's definitely an important part of life.
Yeah, and it's not just the a big thing. I mean, everybody went through dramas, with,
Yeah.
I personally a lot with betrayal, with my professional life, which is very, very hard on me. But but like these little things, what I talk with my dad about, like little, it doesn't really, it's not a big deal, but it's just like every day we have little things we can adjust, and if we just think about it, and for a moment, I think we can always work on ourselves and be better, and be better with ourselves.
Yeah, no, to be able to have that mentality of always wanting to learn more, be better, do better, grow in so many different areas of life is such a gift to be able to have that. And I think it's especially helpful with forgiveness as well.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see you, have a
I
glass
know,
of
me
wine
too.
with you, and just chat some more. You're
Yes.
an amazing woman. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you. So are
Give
you.
my love to your family.
I
I've
will.
seen your mom forever.
I know.
Just a big kiss from me.
I will. I will.
I hope I see you very, very soon.
I know, me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed this session the same like I enjoyed it. And I see you all next week. Big kiss to everybody.